Holy Week, a week where we remember the last day of Jesus' life, a week of where we reflect on what Jesus did for us. Today, we're going to dive deeper into Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday. Remember the day Jesus rode into Jerusalem on a donkey. For hundreds of years, the people have been waiting for the long-awaited Messiah to come. You see, Jesus entering Jerusalem was a truly significant moment during this week in the story of God. You see, history has shown us that when Cain rode into town with horses, this was an important acknowledgement. It typically showed their ego, their pride, and power. But when Jesus saddled onto a donkey that had never been ridden before, showed the humility of Jesus. When Jesus rode into town, the people understood what it meant, and they acknowledged it as an honoring and recognizing ceremony of their Messiah. During that day, they would lay down their coat and wave palm branches along the street, and a crowd would gather around Jesus and sing Psalm 118, Hosanna, they say. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the King of Israel. And extensively, what Scripture tells us, and more specifically, what John the writer tells us, is that everything Jesus did was done to fulfill a prophecy given by the prophet Zechariah. You see, in so many of the miracles that Jesus had done, he had not formally proclaimed that he is the Messiah. When a miracle happened, Jesus would often say, "Don't tell, for my time has not yet come." But through the riding of a saddle of a donkey into Jerusalem, Jesus finally proclaimed who he is. He's declaring that he is the hope. He is the Messiah. He is the one that can defeat death. That he is the one true king, and he will save his people. That's what Hosanna means. It means save, the cry of those who long for the king prophesied by Zechariah. You see, Jesus was going to save his people. He knew what he was doing. And he wasn't going to do it in a traditional way like other kings. No. You know, where they enter a country or a nation and take over it by killing people. No. Jesus was going to die to save his people. You see, Jesus' death had to happen for the prophecy to be fulfilled. Jesus riding into Jerusalem like a king, but a king who knows that the only way to defeat death and sin is to die. And when Jesus rode into Jerusalem, many people didn't like it, really more so the religious leaders, because they knew what this meant. They knew that Jesus was declaring himself to be the king of the Jews, and they saw that Jesus was coming to take away their power, the static, and rule. And because of that, they made a plan to reject him and a plot to get him killed. Not realizing that what they were doing was fulfilling God's plan. Palm Sunday is good news because Jesus announces that he was bringing his people closer to him through his death. And we should accept Jesus' coming death as the way to the new life. Jesus is the one true King